Most Hanoi itineraries just shuffle you through the same tired checklist of highlights. You'll think you've seen Vietnam, but you haven't. This guide takes you to train track cafes, underground bomb shelters with original war maps, and boat rides through caves from Hollywood blockbusters. Ready to see Vietnam's capital like you've never imagined? Day 1. Old Quarter Seoul to French Colonial Elegance. Your adventure begins where Hanoi's heart beats strongest, at Hoan Kiem Lake, where generations have welcomed the day with Tai Chi beside its still waters. Whether you're waking up at the elegant Sofitel Legend Metropole, in the French Quarter, a short walk away, or the wallet-friendly La Siesta Classic Mamai, right in the Old Quarter, you're ideally placed to join this daily ritual. If you're staying at the Sofitel Legend Metropole, you might want to fit in their complimentary Path of History tour at 5 p.m. each day. The hotel's bomb shelter, used during the Vietnam War, tells stories no museum can match. Joan Baez actually performed down there during the 1972 bombings. Set your alarm early, we're talking 6 a.m. early, and head straight to Hoan Kiem Lake to watch elderly Vietnamese move through Tai Chi poses with the precision of ballet dancers while the city stirs to life. The complete lake loop takes about 25 minutes, and trust us, that morning mist rising off the water creates photo moments you won't get at noon. Cross the iconic Red Huc Bridge to reach Ngoc Shan Temple on its tiny island. More than just another temple, it houses Vietnam's legendary preserved giant turtle, a 250-kilogram specimen that locals believe was the lake's guardian spirit. The morning light filtering through incense smoke here is a scene that will stick with you long after you leave. Now your stomach's probably reminding you it exists, so let's fix that. Walk to Phugy A Truyen Bat Dan at 49 Bat Dan Street. This Michelin-recommended establishment has been serving the same pho recipe since the 1960s, and the line of locals waiting for breakfast here tells you everything you need to know. Insider tip: add the crispy breadsticks called Quay. They're what turn good pho into great pho. Properly fueled, dive into the organized chaos of the Old Quarter's 36 streets. Each street historically specialized in one craft: hung bak for silver, hung gai for silk. And while globalization has blurred these lines, you'll still find silver shops dominating their ancestral street. Watch how narrow these buildings are, some just 3 meters wide but 60 meters deep. A clever tax dodge from when property tax was based on street frontage. Midday calls for Banh Mi at Banh Mi 25 on Hung Ca Street. Here, the French colonial baguette meets Vietnamese ingenuity, with pâté, herbs, pickled vegetables, and that mysterious sauce that makes everything better. Walk off your lunch with a brief stroll to Hoa Lu Prison, grimly named the Hanoi Hilton by American POWs during the Vietnam War. The contrast between French colonial cells and the POW exhibits create a sobering perspective on Vietnam's complex history. Senator John McCain's flight suit is displayed here, a powerful reminder of how recent these conflicts were. Continue to St. Joseph's Cathedral, Hanoi's neo-Gothic answer to Notre Dame. Built in 1886, its weathered facade looks like it's been transplanted from medieval France, except for the vendor selling Vietnamese iced coffee on the steps. Speaking of which, Con Cafe across the square serves coconut coffee that'll ruin regular coffee for you forever. Book your 6:30 p.m. show at Thong Long Water Puppet Theater in advance. This 11th century art form sells out fast. Water puppetry might look like it's just for tourists, but here it's the real deal. Local families bring their kids to watch these folk stories unfold, told through live music and wooden puppets dancing across the water. After the show, if it's Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, the weekend night market transforms the streets around Hoan Kiem Lake into a pedestrian paradise. Live traditional music, portrait artists, and enough street food to make dinner decisions a delicious challenge. Try the Nem Chua Run, fried fermented pork rolls that may sound unusual but taste incredible. If you're visiting on a weekday, try Bun Cha Huy Ung Lien on Le Van Hu Street. This is where Obama and Anthony Bourdain shared bun cha while filming Parts Unknown, and the grilled pork with herbs and noodles lives up to the presidential hype. Insider tip: if visiting on a weekend, catch the water puppet show before heading to the night market. The crowds triple after 8 p.m., and you'll spend more time navigating people than enjoying the atmosphere. End your first night at Truyen Beer Corner, squeezed onto tiny plastic stools with a glass of fresh bia hoi. The weak beer, just 3% alcohol, brewed daily, disappears fast as you debate everything from football to philosophy with Vietnamese strangers who quickly start to feel like old friends. Tomorrow, we're diving into the Vietnam many rush travelers skip, from the underground bunkers where generals planned the Tet Offensive to a cafe so dangerous the city keeps trying to shut it down. Speaking of insider access, if you want more guides that show you how people really experience these places, not just the highlights almost everyone else covers, subscribe and let us know in the comments where we should uncover next. Day 2. Imperial Grandeur to Train Track Thrills. Today's about grand monuments and secret nooks that many travelers overlook. We're kicking off bright and early this morning because the Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum complex runs on tight schedules, and later in the day, the heat can be relentless. Hail a taxi or grab car to Ba Ding Square. The Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum opens at 8 a.m. sharp, and you want to be in line by 7:30. Yes, seeing Uncle Ho's preserved body feels surreal, but watching Vietnamese families pay their respects helps you understand his godlike status here. Dress code is strict. No shorts, no sleeveless shirts, and no photos inside. One pillar pagoda sits just behind the mausoleum, and despite being a 1950s reconstruction of the 1049 original, it's still architecturally fascinating. A lotus flower emerging from water, symbolizing purity rising from suffering. The tiny pagoda only fits about 5 people, so morning timing helps avoid the squeeze. Take a brief walk to the Temple of Literature, Vietnam's first university, founded in 1070. Those stone turtles carrying doctoral stelae honor Vietnam's top scholars from 1442 to 1779. Students still come here before exams to rub the turtles' heads for luck, which explains why some heads are shinier than others. By now, you've probably worked up an appetite, which means there's no better time to head to KOTO on Van Miew Street. KOTO stands for No One, Teach One. This restaurant trains disadvantaged youth in hospitality, and their Asian fusion menu is seriously good. The passion fruit mousse alone justifies the visit. The Imperial Citadel of Thang Long is a 15-minute walk away. This UNESCO site was Vietnam's political center for 13 centuries, and the underground bunker where generals planned the Tet Offensive still has the original maps on the walls. The archaeological site shows layer upon layer of dynasties, literally Vietnam's history stacked on top of itself. Taxi to Tran Quoc Pagoda on West Lake. Dating back to 545 AD, this is the city's oldest pagoda. And the Bodhi tree in the courtyard is believed to have been grown from a cutting of the original tree beneath which Buddha sat. As the late afternoon light hits the golden stupas, Westlake frames the scene, giving every snapshot a professional feel. This is where today gets really interesting. Head to Train Street, but forget the touristy Dien Bien Phu section. Go to the Le Duan section, where Hanoi 1990 Cafe operates. Picture this, you're sipping egg coffee at a tiny table when suddenly a full-sized passenger train barrels down the narrow street just inches from your face. The entire building shakes, the ground vibrates under your feet, and for about 10 seconds, you're close enough to high-five passengers through the windows. Train schedules typically run around 7:20 p.m. on weekdays and 3:20 p.m. on weekends. But timing changes frequently, so ask cafe staff for the current schedule when you arrive. Insider tip: arrive 30 to 45 minutes before the train passes. The cafe staff know exactly where to position you for that show-stopping shot while keeping you safe. When you hear urgent shouting in Vietnamese or see staff frantically gesturing, follow their instructions immediately. This isn't a theme park ride. After that adrenaline rush, you've earned yourself a proper dinner. Don't miss cha ca, the turmeric fish with dill that originated here in the 1870s. Cha ca Thang Long on Duong Thanh Street serves it just right. You cook the fish yourself at your table, adding herbs and rice noodles as you go. It's interactive dining that predates hot pot trends by a century. If you've still got energy, Bia Hoi Corner at Ta Hien and Luang Ngak Nguyen stays lively until midnight. Each corner represents a different beer brand, and locals are fiercely loyal to their corner. Pick wrong, and you might get good-naturedly heckled into switching sides. Tomorrow, we're leaving the city behind for Vietnam's answer to Guilin, except with none of the crowds and all of the drama. Imagine limestone towers rising from emerald water, but with caves you can explore and a climb that's worth every burning step. Day 3. Ninh Binh, Vietnam's inland Halong Bay. Remember those gorgeous views from Hoan Kiem Lake on day 1? Well, prepare to have your perspective completely recalibrated. Today, we're heading for Ninh Binh, where those city views will seem almost quaint compared to the dramatic limestone peaks and hidden valleys we're about to explore. Book a group tour with hotel pickup or catch the 6 a.m. train from Hanoi railway station. The train's our favorite. It's how locals travel, and the morning light over the rice paddies from your window tops any tour bus movie. You'll arrive at Ninh Binh by 8:30 a.m., ready to beat both crowds and heat. Your first stop is Hoa Lu, Vietnam's capital from 968 to 1010 AD. This is where the country declared independence after 1,000 years of Chinese rule. Step through the courtyards of Ding Tian Huang Temple and you'll notice how the limestone cliffs tower above you, not just for beauty, but as natural defenses that made this valley almost impossible to invade. If you follow the quieter path behind the main temple, you'll find a small altar still used by locals for incense offerings. It's usually overlooked, which makes it one of the most peaceful corners of the site. Stop here for a moment, look out across the valley, and imagine how Vietnam's first kings saw these same peaks as sentinels guarding their new nation. Lunch at Truyen restaurant means trying Ninh Bing's famous Cơm Chi, crispy rice that's deliberately burned, then topped with stir-fried meat and vegetables. Sounds odd, tastes amazing, and yes, the charred bits are the best part. Now for the main event, Trang An boat tour. Unlike its popular cousin Tom Ngoc, Trang An offers longer cave passages, some stretching nearly a kilometer underground. Your boat guide navigates using just their feet, leaving hands free to point out formations that look like Buddha, dragons, or your mother-in-law, depending on imagination and lighting. Quick note, we've linked reliable tour operators for Trang An in the description below. They handle pickup from Hanoi and know the optimal routes through the caves. The route takes you through 9 caves and past 3 temples, but here's what guides might forget to tell you. That scene in Kong Skull Island where they enter the island was filmed right here in Cave 7. The water reflects jungle-covered karsts so seamlessly you can't tell where reality ends and reflection begins. After your boat tour, it's time for the day's grand finale, Hang Mua. Most group tours include this as their final stop, but if you're traveling independently, it's a quick 10-minute motorbike taxi ride from Trang An. Yes, those 500 steps to the peak are tough, especially in the humidity, but when you reach that dragon statue at the summit and see the entire Tam Ngoc Valley spread below you at golden hour, you'll understand why we saved this for last. Up here, you'll watch the sunset paint these limestone peaks while rivers wind through rice paddies like silver ribbons. This is the view that'll define your Vietnam memories. Catch the evening train back, arriving around 9:30 p.m. You're probably exhausted, but if you've got one more meal in you, Quan An Nagan near the station serves everything you might have missed. All of Hanoi's greatest hits under one roof. So, there you have it. 3 days that have taken you from Hanoi's Tai Chi mornings to underground war bunkers to dramatic limestone karsts. You've eaten pho where it's been honed for decades and dodged actual trains for the perfect coffee shot, all without backtracking like a lost tourist. Which of these experiences are you most excited to try? Drop a comment below, and while you're here, check out our playlists, Asian Urban Explorations for more city adventures and Off the Beaten Path for hidden discoveries across the continent. Next weekend, we're revealing another destination with the kind of insider access that makes other travel guides look like Wikipedia pages. Make sure you're subscribed and that notification bell is on. This one's going to be wild. Until then, happy travels, and remember, the stories worth telling usually start with saying yes to the unexpected.